What's up, fam? I'm your host, Kyledoops from Crypto Banter. But of course, today I'm here in the game. I'll be discussing a whole lot of different altcoins on today's show. I'm going to be going through which crypto gaming project is probably the best to buy right now. I'm going to stick to and focus on mainly the larger cap coins, just to play it fair for the rest of those out there who maybe are new to crypto and they don't know how to buy things on a DEX. So we'll keep it mostly focused on what's on the centralized exchange. So again, reminder, I'm Kyledoops from Crypto Banter. Most of you probably know me from there. And without further ado, let's get straight into the show. I'm going to start off over here just with Bitcoin, because you can see Bitcoin is making another attempt at this key pivot level, which is coming in at $38,000. Now, we know that if Bitcoin continues its bullish path, it's going to be net positive for the altcoins. And this is following a mammoth move, which ultimately came off these lows at $25,000. You can see a very, very strong key level of support, strong horizontal, broke out, reclaimed above 32,000, and it's been onwards and upwards. The slow grind continues. Now, your next major level of resistance, which you'll want to be focused on, is going to be this level right over here. That is your 50% retracement level as per the fib tool, taken from all-time high back down to the ultimate bottom. It's coming in at $42,101. And you can expect that that's going to be major resistance when price does eventually push back into that zone. And that's where you'd be considering at least taking a little bit of profit for the first knock into that zone. Right now, we're currently in the middle of a range, a tighter range within the range. So what is the broader range? Well, very simply, this is your broader range. You have the range low over there at $25,338. You have your mid-range at $32,645. And then lastly, the range high at $40,805. So as long as price remains above this $32,000 level, even if it does come back down to this zone, that is going to be a buying opportunity. It's strong support. And ultimately, we would be targeting back towards this $42,000 zone, which are prices last seen months ago. We haven't been there for over a year. So it will be great to get back there. We're already seeing the altcoins pop off of just a little bit of upside from Bitcoin in the last couple of days. So what are those altcoins? What are we looking at? We're looking at crypto gaming, metaverse, as well as NFTs. And this is ultimately the first one I'm going to bring up. It is a long trade that we are already currently in. We've given it out to the audience, but I'll show you how to maybe get another entry into this. It is Mana USDT. Very simply, from technical analysis perspective, you can see this has held a very, very important range. You had resistance over here, which was also support, bounced up, came to the top side of there, rejected, came back down. Then we had the big pump, right? When we lost that level, you can see a key level, holds a support, loses that, eventually comes down, deviation back into the range, leads to a move towards the top side. And now we have a downsloping trend line, which was respected all the way down. And now we're looking at what is the next deviation. Now, deviations are very, very powerful. Prices tend to stick within ranges longer than what they do within trends. Prices range for about 70% of the time and only trend in strong trending moves for about 30% of the time, which means if you're trading that ultimate range, you're going to make most of your money by essentially longing the bottom of the range and shorting the top side. So you're looking at something like this. This is ultimately the play. So you can see this is going to apply to any of the other charts that I talk about right now. It's the same methodology. Range trading breaks a downtrend to start a new uptrend while simultaneously being in a range. And let's zoom in and get just a tiny bit more granular here with regards to current price action. So the current trade opportunity was a 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio. We entered over here at 35 cents for Mana, and currently so far it's looking pretty good. We are now currently up 24% on this move. From bottom to the wick high that we've had so far was a 44% move. So these are pretty substantial gains that can be made. You have the price, which has come back into that range low level. This is our key level. It back tested it as support, and ultimately that is going to be where you would try and establish a new trade. If you're somebody that's not in this trade at the moment and you are looking to get in, you're going to take out your long position tool, and ultimately you're going to invalidate underneath these wicks on the left hand side, and you're targeting the same levels, still giving you a pretty good trade. almost an even better risk to reward ratio because, of course, price has already started to move and we can invalidate under those daily lows. So you're looking to enter over here at about 43 cents. You can zoom in, go on the 4-hour time frame if you do want to get a little bit of a tighter, closer entry, but more or less over here. And you're going to be stopping out underneath those wicks. If you have any closes below, it means you once again losing the range low, which is a key level, and ultimately you're targeting back towards the top side at 80 cents. So the same methodology applies with any of the other coins that I'm going to go through if you are late to the trade. Another one that we have over here is Sandbox, right? Sandbox, same principles apply, right? Long-term downtrend, also stuck within a very, very key range over here, breaks through that level, through the downtrend, deviates above, holds above this zone over here, and ultimately it's long and strong onwards and upwards. If you're looking to establish a new position, this is what that would look like. Let's grab our tool, pretty much entering right where we are now. Let's raise that to the top, and then we'll kind of move this up so it doesn't confuse you. You're looking at something like that, stopping out below those daily lows. There's the trade opportunity. Beautiful, beautiful trade opportunity. A 9-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Only in crypto gaming can these types of gains be found, right? Only in crypto gaming will you get such behemoth moves in such a short amount of time. That's looking at about 113% move from entry to the top side. So it could be looking good as long as this key level holds. Let's move on to 𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏 Games has already had its move. So coming into a key horizontal level over here, I'm not looking to long this. If anything, I'm here taking profits right now. We originally entered on this mammoth 11-to-1 risk to reward ratio trade all the way over here at 0.01964 cents, and ultimately it's come up all the way to this top zone over here. So as a price percentage move, this thing has moved a total of 42%. We're now looking for a pullback from this region, and then we're looking for a higher low to form. So pay attention, pay close attention, watch for that pullback. What you can do is you can also use your fib level, and you can kind of mark from bottom to top of current move. If this does confirm as the top of the move, well, ultimately you're going to be looking to buy that higher low into that 0.382 level, which should set in somewhere around here. If you do lose that level, well, you might round trip all the way back down to the 618, which is going to be all the way back at 0.018 cents. So that is for 𝗏𝗏. Let's go on to 𝗏𝗡coin, see what 𝗏𝗡coin's doing over here. Is it looking good? Is it looking as good as the others? Let's quickly open that up. Okay, long-term downtrend for 𝗏𝗡coin. This one has been absolutely demolished by the market. I mean, when you look at that all-time high over here, this one must have done 99% to the downside, 97%, pretty close. It has broken the trend, right? But there's a lack of momentum over here for the time being. So maybe if it's part of your dollar cost average portfolio, there is an opportunity over here. But your next major resistance, which would have been formed on the way down, these were key levels of support that did not hold. This is going to be your next level of resistance, coming in between $2 and $2.14. And then after that, you need to still get above this zone over here. That's going to be a key level of resistance between $3 and $3.34. Let's move on to IMX and see what IMX is doing over here. Similar to 𝗏𝗏, in a bit of a profit-taking zone. We've already played this move and had a substantial ride to the upside. Now you can see how these levels have been respected, right? Anytime that price, when it lost this level, right, support, bounces to the top side of the range, rejects, comes to the bottom side, holds there as support, gets back into the top side, deviates, comes back below, and ultimately you're playing at level to level. This level did get front run, right? So you didn't come back and test that again, but now you've had the big substantial move to the upside and you're looking like you could potentially be deviating. Now, when it comes to charting, there's one of two things that could take place over here. Number one, you could be in fact deviating, at which point you need to target towards the mid-range of the level. The way that I calculate the mid-range is I use the fib tool and I simply go from the top of that range to the midpoint of this range. That will give you what you call, it's the range quarterly, right? So the 0.5 level, right where this white line is, that is going to be the mid-range of the range. And we like to trade things level to level, meaning if price gets back below that range level, below the top pink box, then you're going to target down towards the bottom. If it holds this level, well, then you're going to target from the bottom back to the top over here, and you're just trading level to level. So as I just mentioned, there's one of two things that could take place over here. Number one is the deviation gets confirmed. Where do you confirm it? With a daily close below these candles over here. Price wise, that would mean you need to close below $1.25. If you see a daily candle close there, deviation is confirming, and you need to target lower prices. The second option is that price holds above here. It holds above, continues to consolidate, and that would actually be rather bullish. That means that price has gained a new level. In trading, we always ask, did you win a level or did you lose a level? So when price was down here, came back up, we won a level, right? You can see on this week over here, back tested the support, you won that level. That means you have the right to trade it up to this zone. So if you see it holding above the pink box over here at $1.32, then you've won a level and you can start to target the next important zone. So keep that in mind with regards to your trading. Let's move on to Super, which has had an absolutely mammoth pump over here. It is looking like it's consolidating after a very, very, very big move. But ultimately, I wouldn't be taking this trade personally on Super. If you're not already in on Super, this is a heated move from bottom to top. This thing already ran 434%. I'd wait for it to cool down a little bit and maybe have a little bit of a further pullback. Let's go on to Blur. This is what I was just talking about. Did you gain a level or lose a level? So far, it's looking like Blur has gained this key level over here. Range bound with your top of the range coming in at 80 cents. Your bottom of the range is coming in at 10 cents. And ultimately, you had a strong downtrend. You consolidated, broke above that level, and we targeted down up to the first range quarterly, coming in at 28 cents, held above. Confirm that you've gained that level. Look at that support, big expansive move towards the upside, comes back down into the mid-range, holds that level as support, and technically, as long as it continues to hold this zone over here, you do have a potential long opportunity, which would look something like this. If I were looking to take a trade over here, my stop would be below that wick, and I'd be targeting back towards the top side. It is not the perfect trade. I prefer a little bit of a higher risk to reward ratio. This one's giving you a 2.38 to 1 risk to reward ratio. So the option is either you remain patient, wait for it to pull back a little bit further. If you can get it closer to the pink box over here, it will become more favorable with a 4.66 to 1 risk to reward ratio. So do keep an eye out on that. Next up, let's look at Phantasma and see what is Phantasma up to. Phantasma has been in a parallel channel, which has been governing price towards the downside for a number of months, had the slowdown phase, big move up, broke above that level. Also, this has been a very, very substantial move. I don't know if I'd be looking to get into Phantasma after 288% pump. Yes, it can go higher. Your next resistance level is coming in at 26 cents. So favorable for risk to rewards. For risk to reward longs, I wouldn't say so because you're probably going to find resistance over here, and then I'd rather wait for that cool-off phase to come back into this level. Maybe around 17 cents would be a better long-term buy. Now, in trading, if you can find these charts, the next one that I'm about to show you, it is Games for a Living. GFAL. This is a perfect uptrend. It reminds me a lot of 𝗏𝗄𝗃, which we know has performed phenomenally well for the last year. It's outperformed everything in the market. You have a perfect uptrend over here. It just continues to grind. And all you need to do is mark out the levels, right? I marked off previously to the guys on my show saying that, well, this is a clear level of support coming in at 0.027. And then the next one, which we're looking to potentially flip into rock solid support, is going to be 0.032. Now price is starting to move up. I could almost say that this level is probably going to be safe. This zone is going to be safe. I don't know if price is going to come back there. And we now need to start looking towards the next key zone, which is going to be over here. This is probably, if price comes back into this zone, 0.038, that is probably your next buying opportunity. So any profit taking that comes into this zone, I would be looking to establish a position and expect that this uptrend probably just continues on until it doesn't, right? That is the saying. The trend is your friend until the end of the trend. So stay in that trend, right? Stay in that trend. It makes your life a lot easier, and you can pretty much just exit when the trend does end. Okay, let's have a look at Ultra over here. Ultra, a lot of people have forgotten about Ultra, but I've kept it on my watch list for a long time because look at that. It's been brutal. It's been absolutely smashed, but something significant is taking place, which is the reclaim of the range low. The reclaim of the range low. You've had a long time consolidation, a lot of accumulators trying to establish positions within this zone. You have the deviation. You broke back into the range. You're coming back to back test that level as support right now. Let's see how that goes. If this does remain above this level, that's a long opportunity, which I'd look to establish over here. And then I'd be targeting higher prices. So if you want a very, very conservative entry, well, ultimately, you'd be looking for something a lot lower. You could start to scale into this position anywhere from here with your stop below these wicks, right? I would look to stop out completely below this wick that occurred on the 3rd of November 2023. And then you could target this all the way to the top side. And this is the beauty of the gaming market. The risk to reward ratios are still looking very, very juicy on a lot of these coins. So that's the play, looking for to scale into position. Now, you don't want to blindly just buy your entire portfolio at this level, because if you look as a percentage from top to bottom where you would stop out, it would mean that you would end up losing 12% of your account. So remember to calculate your risk when taking these trades. And ultimately, I'd look to scale in, right? There's a real possibility that it does something like this, comes into the red for a bit, and then only later starts to take off. That is Ultra. So one of the better looking ones today. What are the best looking ones that we've covered today? I would actually say probably Ultra and then Games for a Living, because it's in such a beautiful uptrend. Then we have Vulcan Forge, right? Vulcan Forge. I know that our man Hustle has definitely preached about Vulcan Forge for a long time. It's been one of his biggest bags, and I'm sure that he's being handsomely rewarded for that. Now, if you look at this trade over here, as you can see from my LARP lines, I am targeting high prices. I'm viewing the current price action right over here as just a simple consolidation within this yellow box before leading up to the next leg higher, which means price needs to hold above this pink box. We need to see price continue to remain specifically above $5.15. As long as there's no closing candles below $5.15, then you start to negate the possibility of that deviation, right? Lose $5.15, you have a potential deviation in play, and then we need to target all the way back down to the bottom of the range. For now, it's looking good. This is the expectation, consolidation, and then ultimately you can lead up to your next major target. First, TP1 at 777 and TP2 would be at $10.65. Now, Illuvium, let's have a look at Illuvium. We called Illuvium way back at the bottom over here, $38. We then compounded on that trade based on what we were seeing over here on this wick, as you can see with the white arrow. Perfect to the absolute cent test into that $78.60 zone. Very, very key level of support. You can see prior resistance, right? Confirming that was flipping that level. Resistance, 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 flipped as support. That means onwards and upwards. And now we are approaching the next level of resistance, is going to be coming in around that $140 mark. So I wouldn't really be longing over here. Risk to reward is not favorable to the longs. Going long over here, you're looking at another 18% move. I've just shown you many coins that look a whole lot better. And then let's see. AXS, how's that one looking? We've broken a long-term downtrend over here. Also, coming off of those range lows, very, very key level. You can see the lack of liquidity based on these massive wicks over here, but you're approaching the mid-range, right? So also not really favorable to longs, 65% upside move. But if you do get a strong pullback, which creates a secondary low, so this being your primary low, and if you see something like this, creating the secondary low like that, I would look to possibly grab some of this position over here. All right, guys, that basically brings us towards the end. Make sure that you smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and then most definitely also subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. There's a lot of alpha here, and I'll be coming here from time to time to drop these gaming tokens for you guys, and we can have a whole lot of fun together making some profits for the bull run. So that's it from me. I'll catch you guys all on the next one. Have an absolutely stellar day, and cheers for now, guys.